Good morning, guys. My name is Danny, and I will be giving you today's webinar. So, as scheduled, today's webinar is going to be about tasks. I'm going to show you all about tasks, where can you schedule them, where can you create templates, um, where can you access the information, how can you see your pending tasks. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is log into the control panel. Remember, you can ask me any questions during the webinar. Raise your hand. I'll read them out loud so that I can answer both your doubt and the rest who are watching. So the first thing, we're going to access the task in the follow-up system. And why is this? Because we're going to actually generate a task directly from here. Okay. Then I'm going to show you the task, and afterwards, I'm going to show you a little trick here in the templates, how we can create combo task templates. Okay, that is to schedule several tasks or create a template with several tasks so we can schedule them all at once instead of going just one by one. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select, let's say, for example, these four properties, the four first properties, and I'm going to click schedule task. So over here, we have automatic and manual. So the automatic, it's going to go out even if you're not logged into your system, your computer's off, whatever. The system is going to be in charge of sending it out automatically whenever you want it to execute. Now, the manual, I personally, Danny, usually have, or I suggest you to use this as a reminder, okay? Because it's going to create the actual, and I'm going to show you both so you could see the difference. It's going to create the actual task, but it's never going to execute unless you actually click execute, okay? So I'm going to click on manual, I'm sorry, on automatic, and I'm going to schedule an SMS. I want it to execute on Monday at 9 a.m. And then in the schedule detail, what it is for your own reference. So let's say this is my first follow up. So I'm going to put as my reference, because this is a task detail. I'm going to put the detail as follow up number one. And then I'm going to click create. Then it's going to take me to the actual window of what's going to be scheduled. And that's going to be as well with the documents, with the emails, and with the fax of automatic tasks. Okay. So it's going to take you after you set the time and date. And of course, you select the task. It's going to take you to the window of what it's actually going to be sending out. So in this case, you guys already know the procedure. If you have any other templates, you can select them. If you want to, if it's a contract, you select the contract you want sent out at the time you selected to be executed. And if not, you could just leave the one that you have as default. Okay. Then I'm going to click create task. If you have anything to modify before scheduling it out, you can modify it and you can add any variables, anything you need. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create the task. So notice that at the bottom, you will have the task creation process. After they're all created, you're going to see a number one in the pending task column. And that's because, of course, we scheduled it for the future. It's not going to be sent out right now, but on Monday. Okay, so it's always going to add the number of pending tasks you have for the property. If you click on the number one or the number that you have there, because you can have 3, 5, 7 pending tasks for a property, you can click on the number of the property and it will take you to the follow history in the pending task section, and it's going to actually show you the task you created, um, the if you want to edit your task, what time it was created, what day it's going to be executed. Notice the schedule detail. This is, remember, for our own reference. So it's really simple, something that you can just check uh, without having to open anything up. You could notice that it's like I showed you as this example, it's follow up number one. Then you notice the status that it's pending, the contact name, and then the phone it's going to actually send the text message to. And then notice that you have this lightning over here, and that means that it's automatic. If it's not, if it doesn't have any lightning, and I'm going to show you in just a second how it's going to look, it means that it's a manual task. Either way, if you select it over here, you'll if you click on the pencil, you'll notice the address of the property, the pending. It will break down into this little window everything you saw in the columns. You can modify the execution time, date, time, and then you can modify as well the schedule detail. The only thing you won't be able to modify here or anywhere in the system is the actual task that is going to be executed. For example, you want to modify the text message or the email that's going to be sent out, you're unable to do that. What you need to do in that case is select it and delete it over here. Okay. Once it finishes up, you'll notice that it will eliminate the number one that we had for that property. Okay. Now, so that I don't lose the train of thought, because you guys know that I have really short memory, I'm going to show you how to schedule and how it looks to schedule a manual task, because it's going to really help you to keep things, let's say, in a specific order and to execute at the time that you want. Okay. For example, if you have an assistant account, and you have an assistant on that account, so there's going to be two people handling your account. Okay. For example, you are the person on the main account, and on the assistant account, somebody else, right? So in that case, it's going to you'll be able to schedule manual things so that so that you know you're going to have them in pending tasks, and you just execute because that's your pending. Okay. Um, with the manual, you notice that with the automatic, you have little things that you can execute, right? But with the manual, since it works as a reminder, you'll have the ability of scheduling, sending tasks. I'm sorry, sending SMS, receiving, sending SMS by Plevo or receiving by Plevo, sending fax, receiving by fax, and a lot more. I mean, even making a note that you made a visit. Even you can schedule a reminder to make a call. Okay. And then once you select your task, because you notice that you have a lot, you can, for example, I'm going to schedule, since I already scheduled a text message to go out, I'm going to follow up with a phone call afterwards the next day. Then I'm going to put follow up call, sorry, follow up number 2. And when do I want this to, or when should I execute this? Let's say at 10 a.m. Okay, I'm going to create. So it's not going to actually take you to the window of your phone calls or where you actually dial directly from the system with your professional dialer. But it will um, take it to the task window. Okay. Notice that it created the 4 pending tasks of phone calls. So if I actually select them in my task window, remember, in my pending task, if I actually select it and click complete, if you have the professional dialer and you click execute, it's going to take you to the actual dialer window. For example, it's going to and then it's going to take you to this window where you'll be able to dial directly. If not, you can select it, and let's say that on it's Monday 10 a.m. because I'm checking my pending tasks, and I dialed these properties from my cell phone. So I just want the note to be added into the pending task. And all we have to do is click complete, and you can mark it as completed. Okay. When you mark it as completed, it will, of course, eliminate them from here. And you'll notice, let's let it finish over here. Once it says it's successfully done, you can go back into your follow-up. You refresh. Remember, after every process, you refresh so that you can have your updated data. And the number twos go away. The twos of the three properties and the one of the first one. So you see that it executed the task. Now, where can we see that? Because we made the phone call external to ReiFax, and I just added the note through the pending task. So I go to follow history, and in the history section, you'll notice that we've made a phone call. And then, like I said, if you have a assistant account, it's really important to know who made what, right? So let's say you are the owner of the account. Um, you're the owner of the account, and you want to see if your assistant executed the actual call. You can go into your follow history and see, oh, okay, so Danny did execute the phone call. Or let's say Peter did execute or created a task. Okay. Or let's say Diana made the first phone call. Okay. So depending on who executed from which account, you'll notice the who executed or the name of the execution. Okay. Remember, you're gonna have in the follow history the history of what actually executed, anything that you have pending, the failed task. So if anything failed, you're going to see it for each individual property. You're going to see it in this section. Okay. And if you're interested as well, you can also create tasks directly from the follow history. Notice up here, you'll be able to actually create the the task. And it's just like in the follow history, all you need to do is select if it's automatic or manual, what type of task, the time or the date you want to execute it, the time, and the schedule detail. Okay. Do we have any questions so far? Okay, remember you can ask any questions throughout the webinar. I'll answer them out loud so that I can clear the doubts of anybody else who may have the same question. Okay. Um, Now, from the follow-up, like I said, you can select or you can click on the number that you have here so that it actually takes you to the pending tasks that you have for the property. Now, I told you that I was going to show you how it looks when you have a pending manual task. Notice that it doesn't have the lightning symbol on the execution type. So you will notice that that it's manual. Either way, if you click on the pencil in the follow history, it will tell you that it's manual. Okay. Now in the task section, how or what will you be able to see? So you'll see an overview of everything you have pending for all of the properties. So if you have double properties with different tasks, um, you'll notice the status, the address of the property, the type of task, if it's a text message, if it's a phone call, if it's a fax, contract, email, if it's a visit, okay? Any task, you're going to see the sign here. Either way, like I said, you can click on it, let's say, and you can see the detail. You can go to contact, you can go to the overview, or you can go to the follow history of that property. Then it's going to tell you the execution when you created the task, when it's going to be completed or when it should be completed. The schedule detail, remember, like I said, this is for your own reference. If it's pending, and of course it's in the pending task, in the pending task section, the contact name, phone number, and the execution type, like we saw in the follow history. Now, if, for instance, you are interested, like I said, in editing, and I'm going to repeat this, you guys are unable to edit the actual task. You're only able to modify when it's going to be executed and the schedule detail. Apart from that, you're unable to modify any task, like what it's actually going to be sending out. Okay. But if you made a mistake, if you are not interested in sending the text message, or you sent the wrong, or you created the wrong um, task or template, you can delete the process, the pending task. For example, I'm going to delete these. We don't want them executed um, or making false text messages. So I can delete them and it's no longer going to be sent. Okay. If or I've actually seen, and I'm putting you different scenarios so that you guys have an idea of what this is going to help you with. I've seen a lot of users only handling themselves with the task or pending task section. They have 5, 7, 10 pages of pending tasks. And what do? They just schedule them as manual. What they do is they use a filter, and when it should be executed, okay, or user who executes, of course, execution type, and then the completed date when it's going to be actually executed. So when you, let's say it's Monday, okay? So I'm going to select Monday in this calendar, and I'm going to click filter. Of course, we don't have anything scheduled for Monday, but you would see the drop down of all of the tasks that I need to do today, Monday, so that I can execute them. If it's 100 phone calls, I can select them. I'm going to reset the filter. I can select all of my phone calls and click complete, remember, so that it actually executes if you have the professional dialer. If not, if I made the phone calls external to ReiFax, I can just mark as completed, and it will add the note that it was executed. Like I said, for example, new task created and executed on you can see here on March 8th. Okay. Apart from that, you can select and print your follow-up or your tasks. You can export to Excel. Of course, it will export the grid that you're looking at here. And you can take a look at the legend so you can see what all these colors mean. Okay. Do we have any questions so far, guys? Okay. I guess if I'm going too fast, please let me know, because I always I don't get a clear thought or train of thought, and I may go all over the place. Please let me know if I'm going too fast, if you need me to repeat anything, if you have any questions, okay? Um, okay, to continue, if you want to see or double check your completed tasks. So everything that completes, you'll be able to see it in this completed task. I'm going to refresh because it's not opening that tab. Okay. In the completed task, you're going to see everything that was executed. So you'll be able to see the status of the property, the property address, what type of task was executed, who executed it. Remember that if you have assistant accounts and your personal account, there are different names that are going to be on here. So it's going to tell you who executed what. And and all of this is going to show in both uh, the main account and all of the assistants. So they'll be able to keep track of who created what. Then you have the contact name, what time it was completed, and the schedule detail. Okay. And then, of course, the execution type, if it was manual or if it was automatic. Like I said, you can print, export to Excel, or filter. You could take a look and see um, or you could go back into, okay, I want to see what was executed last Friday, and you can take a look at it with the filter. Now, this page, you're unable to delete anything. So everything is going to be registered here. You're not able to delete anything from the completed task tab. And same thing with the failed task, we'll be able to see here, and this task is, or this tab is really important to us because anything that fails, you'll be able to see here why it failed. What do we see here before I go into why it failed or the status of the failure? The status of the property address, what task was created to execute, when it was created, completed time, schedule detail, the status of the task. So, for example, um, any error that it gives you when you click on the follow up and you select to execute, or when it actually schedules, or you have something scheduled to go out, okay, and some failed, you're gonna see them here. So over here in the status, it's gonna tell you why it failed. So when you, for example, open the live chat and you say, "Hey, one of my tasks failed," we're gonna ask you, or we're gonna tell you to go into your failed task, failed tasks, and then you're going to copy the detail or the status of the error, and you're going to paste it here. Okay. And this way, if you don't know what this means or any of the other errors, for example, um, this one, if you don't know what it is, we can look into it and see why it failed. Okay. Or we can give you a larger explanation than what you have here. For example, the user and password not accepted. It's because you have to update your email settings. Okay. So if you don't understand the status, you can take a look into or open the live chat, paste the actual error or the status of the task, and we'll be able to give you a larger explanation of why it failed. Okay. So that's why it's really important for you guys to identify or know where to find your failed task and how to get to that status. Remember, task, failed, and then view task detail, where you'll be able to select the error, copy, and then paste here. Okay. Do we have any questions so far? Okay. Um, Allison, I'm going to get back to you after the webinar with this question. She asked so that you guys don't get or if you may have the same doubt. I'm new to your platform. I noticed that you referenced SMS. I'm not sure, but I thought I heard something about those being or becoming illegal. Would this apply to your platform? It all depends. I mean, there are parameters um, with an association. Okay, Um, there are parameters or things that you cannot apply in a text message that you're going to be sending in bulk. Okay. For example, I want to buy, and I'm talking without having, um, let's say it's not, it's my personal criteria and what I've learned. Okay. But as in Danny, yes, there are some things that you're unable to add to a text message, but it all depends on how you create the text message. I mean, you can't make reference to "I want to buy" or um, let's say another example is "I am selling." Okay, those things, those keywords, it's going to just bounce back. And for people who are, and this is something that I do know of experience, for people who are in the national do not call list or that you're unable to send text messages to or anything and you're scared to be sued, it's a risk that you may take. But if you are not selling anything, you are honestly, if you are not offering a service to that person, you are not inside of that do not call list. But that would be something that you would have to investigate a little further into Google. Google, you know that it gives you all the professional answers. Um, Going on, from here, what you could do is, let's see. From here, from the failed task, let's say that you fixed, okay, your your email, for example. Okay, this this was a text message. Let me grab one that is an email. Let's see, go to contact. Let's see if it's my contact first. Okay, in this case, I'm going to, if I fixed the email, because in this case, both the document wasn't found. But in the case of it being an email problem, that it didn't find the email or that you mistyped the email, you can go into the contact, modify it, okay? And after you modify it, you can reset your task. So you don't have to create a task from scratch. You can reset your task and it's going to take it to the pending where you will be able to select it and actually click complete, okay? Do we have any questions so far? Okay. Like I said, don't create, if you have them in failed, don't create them from scratch. If you already fixed the issue, if it was your email. Okay, so I got a question over here. Carol, I think I don't understand, and please forgive me. What if you have a property on your list that's pending and it's not in ReiFax? I put in address and it won't come up. Okay, that's a little apart from task, but to answer this really quick, I'm going to show you. So if the address doesn't come up, it's possibly because you don't have it in the correct county. Okay. And when you're searching, and this is a little tip for everybody, when you're searching for a particular property, um, let's say I'm going to grab one of this. I'm going to grab one of these and I'm going to show you what I mean. Okay. When you're looking for a particular property, just paste in the location, the street address, um, and select the county. Okay. Don't add any additional filters because remember, you're looking for a particular address. You're not generating a list. Even if you're certain that it's a single family home, don't select it. Just leave it to public records and then just select the county. If you're not sure, leave it as any county and click search. Okay. It's gonna execute. If you still don't find it, although notice that this one has A, B, C, D, it's going to, of course, give you all of the ones with the address that you look for, but with this must be, see, it is a single family home, but okay. But it's different blocks. So it's going to give you all of the addresses. If you're certain either way of the county, select it. If you're not, leave it as any county. Please let me know. If not, send us the address. We'll find it for you. Going back into the task section, you can, of course, filter your task, reset your task, export to Excel the ones that you select, or print them out. Um, Let me know if we have any questions so that we can continue to a little trickier level. Okay, in any case, um, so I already showed you from the follow-up where can you see if you have pending tasks by just looking at your follow-up. Where can you create them? Where can you view the overview of all the properties pending, completed, and even your failed tasks, right? Now, in templates, in your task templates, is where you're going to be actually creating combo tasks. Okay. Let's say that you have a second job or your first job and you have real estate as a part time and you just want to schedule everything to go out automatically, right? So, what you do is you click add. And what we're doing exactly here is we're scheduling several tasks to just go out automatically on its own. Okay. I'm gonna, for those who know that I always name the templates per date. So today is 6 for 2021. Okay. I'm gonna set it as default and I'm gonna start adding my tasks. So it's gonna give me the same window that I saw in the follow-up, right? So the first task that I want executed is a document. And I want to execute it automatically after I select it in the follow-up. So I'm going to put first offer. Okay. I'm going to click create and it's going to actually take me to the document that I want to be sent out. When you're creating the template, you're not scheduling any property yet. You're creating just the template. Okay. So I'm going to select the contract that I want sent out. Make sure that you have your additional documents, everything in order. Okay. And then I'm going to click email. What is going to, or what is the email that's going to go out with this contract? There has to be an email because the contract is the attachment, right? So if this is the template that I want selected, I just click create task. So I have my first offer of the task created, correct? Now, after that, I'm going to create a follow-up that is going to be a text message. Yeah. And I'm going to do it automatically and I'm going to send the text message to notify them that they have an email. Automatically when the contract goes out, I want the text message or I want them to notify them through a text message. Okay? So, contract reminder. number one. I'm going to just leave it as 0 days, 0 hours, 0 minutes, 0 seconds. Okay. I'm going to click create. Then it's going to take me to the window of what it's going to be actually scheduling to go out. I'm just going to leave this template. So what do we have up to now is that it's going to send a contract along with a text message automatically whenever I select it here. I'm going to show you afterwards the process and the follow-up. But we're right now creating the template of our combo task. Then I'm going to add a follow-up 3 days after the first offer and the text message reminder. Okay. Follow-up number one. I'm going to send them a second text message. And like I said, I'm doing this in random. I'm not actually selecting the correct templates, but you guys can have SMS templates and email templates for follow-up number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with different wordings and different things inside of that template. Okay. But so that I don't take too much of your time, I'm just selecting the one that I have as default. And then I'm going to create a last one, which is going to be an email. And so this one was 3 days after, and this one I'm going to put it 7 days after. Follow-up number 2. I'm going to click create. And it's going to tell me the email that it's actually going to be sent out. And it could be, remember, hey, Danny, remember that I sent you a contract 7 days ago. Please get back to me with a yes or no if you're interested, or if you like the offer, or if you want a rebuttal of whatever you want to add in that email template. Okay. Remember, you can have as many templates as you need. And I always suggest all of the users that I work with, create as many so that you don't have, so that the system does everything for you. Uh, First offer, counter offer, first contract, second contract, additional documents, follow up number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, depending on how your method is. Create as many templates as you can or need. Okay. So over here, I created the template, a task template with 4 templates, or for 4 tasks. Okay. I'm just going to click save. And this is how it's going to look. Voila. Okay. So we have over here the first offer, and it's going to give you a short overview of what it's going to be sending out, or the email that's going to be sending out after, and it's going to tell you after the task is created. Then we have the second task after the task was created. The follow-up number 1, which is a text message, 3 days after the task was created. And then an email, which is my follow-up number 2, 7 days after the task was created. So now now that I have my task over here, I'm going into my follow-up. I'm going to select my 4 properties, okay? Because with this, I suggest you work in bulk. I mean, you're not going to schedule 1 property at a time. If you have the ability of scheduling as many as you need, remember, you do have a limitation of up to 50 contracts per day. So if you're going to be scheduling them for the future, make sure you only schedule 50 per day. So I selected my 4 properties, and now I'm going into my scheduled task. And I'm going to go down into manage templates. I'm going to select the one that I just created, which is 6/4/2021, and I'm going to click load. So over here, instead of going task per task, the manual way that I showed you, creating your automatic manual tasks one by one, you over here created all of your tasks with just one template. So when is it going to start executing the first the sending documents and text message? The time you actually or the date that you actually selected. If you want it right now, you can just click create. If you want this to start sending out the contract text message and then 3 days after and then 7 days after, you can select it for Monday. You can also do that. So you have, oh, okay, I'm going to put listing price or offer. Remember that you have to have an offer price if you're scheduling the contract to go out. And voila, that's all I needed to do. I mean, there are 4 tasks already pending for each of these 4 properties. Um, and I only did several clicks. Did you notice? That is how to actually handle combo task templates. Notice that we have now a 4 over here. Do we have any questions so far, guys? Okay. And then after you have it scheduled, of course, you could do the same procedure that I showed you at the beginning. You could take a look at everything that is scheduled. You can edit the execution date and time. Remember, not what it's going to be actually sending out, but if you're not satisfied with what you want to send out, you can just delete it. If not, you can go into your tasks, refresh, and you'll see everything that you have pending. And if you just want to see what's going to be executed or what's going to be executed on Monday, you can use the filter and it's only going to show you what it's going to execute on Monday. If you want to go back and you just want to filter what's going to be executed on um, Thursday, you can go and you'll see everything. Um, do we have any questions for what we saw today? So today I showed you everything you need to know about scheduled tasks and where can you see your pending, completed, failed tasks, um, how to reset your tasks, creating combo templates or combo task templates, and how to retrieve them in your follow-up. If you have any further questions, please don't doubt in contacting us through our live chat, leaving us an email, um, text message, through our central line, wherever you need. Guys, thank you so much for accompanying me today. I hope you have a wonderful day and weekend.